Hi guys, so I'm just going to quickly finish off the starter box armor review for RuneWars that I got from the demo games. I'm going to go through the Waiqar the Undying part of the review. Obviously I don't know if that's a correct name for a faction, but it's the only information I've been given, as Waiqar the Undying isn't in the box, you get Ardus instead. So we're going to start off with him. He's 37 points for your hero character basically. Again, same as Curry was, you can only buy him as a wanna. You can't get multiples as a special character. He has the army building text that each of your other units in your army count as having the upgrades of the next cost level up. So they effectively get more access to upgrades, which was unfortunate because you don't really get to see that in the starter game just because of the nature of it. We didn't play with upgrades, so I can't really talk about how effective that's going to be, just because I've not seen them. So we didn't play with any of the upgrades. Oh, crap, that doesn't work. Yeah, can't do it that way. My bad. Yeah, I've not got a green screen on because I threw a green t-shirt on to take to work and then decided to try and get this video done quickly. So you have to bear with me. I'll not be able to point as well, but I'm not going to cover any of the actual movement and runes. I'll link to the Daqan video, and basically it should be watched as a series. It'll be the intro video to the actual game, then the forces review, then I've got 2 more battle videos where I can try and go a bit more in depth. One where I wasn't playing, where it's a straight up intro, but I'm not going to play the full the sped up pace that I do the intro video to. And then we'll work through there, so it should be hopefully quite interesting. But back to these guys. So Ardus, as I said, 37 points. He has a defense of 3, which is the number in the white shield, and he has 4 wounds, so really tanky. He does have access to a white +1, so we can always bump that defense up as well on his modifier dial. And the miniature, I prefer this sculpt to the Curry miniature. We had some laughs about why he always seemed to miss when I was rolling dice with him, but the way he's swinging his axes is just a little bit gung-ho. So, well, no, it's a really nice sculpt. I'm looking forward to painting this guy actually. Then what does he rolls? 2 of the D12s, the 2 white D12s, whatever sided dice. Yeah, 2 of the white die. For his attack, so find it to be the most swingy of the attacks. Like the 2 reds always seem to do damage from the infantry. But this guy, the 2 white dice seemed the most swingy of all the die I rolled. Then he has brutal, so he counts as being wider to get extra damage. And it does have lots of different rules for which didn't come into play because it was a demo, like the steadfast, about doubt and fear, which once the game comes in, obviously it's an undead force, they don't really panic as much, so that'll come in into its own once the full game's being played, I'm sure. And then he does have on his melee attack, he can spend surges to do the abilities of other units around him, so he's a really good force multiplier. If you've got, I believe, the Karen Lancer that we'll come to, he's got a nice ability that he can steal and stuff like that. Then his movement, his actual action dial is not as full as Curry's, but that's because he doesn't have the ranged attack option. But he does have the reform at a 3. His red melee attack is at a 3, which is pretty quick. Obviously the only thing I saw attack wise that beats it from memory was Curry's shooting ability. At 2 he has a special action which goes from upgrades, and I don't know what any of those are yet. The 4 is the 2 forwards, and then he's got 2 different 5s, either 3 forwards or the slide, the reposition basically. Then his modifiers, to go with his attack, you can either add in a surge. So if you've got him next to a unit you really want to use their ability, you can dial that one in. Or just the one I was using quite often is the extra damage, and just really try and punch those hits home. So even when you're rolling those white die, if you get a bad roll, you still look at doing like 2 damage to people, so he's always hacking some stuff up. Then in white, he does have a +1 defense and the rally, so he can always dial those in no matter what he's doing. The way I tried to approach it was that I'd just rally in the early turns, get those tokens stacked up on him, just in case anything untoward happened in the late game. Then his bank of blues, just for adjusting his movement. You've got the wheel at -1, you've got the bank, have a turn with no penalty, then the charge, you can charge straight, or you can charge a bank for just a -1. So pretty nimble, relatively tanky, a lot of wounds, and can output some good damage if you get the rolls, and some consistent damage even if you don't, and can really take advantage of the rest of your force's ability. As I say, it's going to be a really good force multiplier. I'll be interested to see what else gets added to the Undying faction, and what else you can do with him from the contents of the starter box. Then we go to the Reanimates, so the skeletons, a standard undead unit. So you can take them in a unit of 2, but the core box comes with 4, so at the minute I'd probably look at doing them as a unit of 4 for 26 points. There might be some advantage to MSUing them that I'm not seeing yet in the current style of games I've played, only being the intro games. But again, when you have Ardus in there, the count is having the next upgrade well available. So even if you only do 2 wide with Ardus, you can add in the next upgrade up, and etc, etc. They have some special rules again. They regenerate. So when you cast the runes, so again, if you haven't watched already, the end portion of the Daqan review, I go into how the runes work. Whenever the green ones come up, you can regenerate that many skeletons into a base. I believe you can only get 3 green as a maximum, and you can never regenerate a full base anyway. If you remove a tray, that tray's gone. You can't regenerate, so killing them in 4s is a really powerful way of doing it. But they tend to get like 1 green normally comes in, but it's random, so not to be relied upon. And then they have some steadfast as well. They have a defense of 1 with 1 wound, so 1 damage kills 1 model, same as the spearman for Daqan. And they have the 2 red attack dice, which is pretty good. Again, feels like it does consistent damage. Then onto a dial, they have the speeds. 4 is the quickest, which is either a rally at green 4 or an attack at red 4. The attack's pretty strong. You get to add in the morale symbol as well, so that gives you guaranteed that you kill stuff and get to force them to take the disorder tokens, things like that. So you can get some really fun psychological effects coming through from the deck. Again, watch a Daqan video if you haven't already. For the green, you get the +1 defense, so you can rally and go with +1 defense. If you're just looking to hold someone, that's probably the better option than the attack, because you get your tokens, or you clear off any negative modifiers to yourself, and then go up to 2 damage for 1 wound. And you don't do any attacks, but if you're regenerating skeletons anyway, so if you've got the 3 green on the runes being cast, it's a really good holding formation. It's going to be really tough to shift. Then the next speed of moves is the 5s, which is the reform and the march move. Reform's green, and that's lets you do a +1 defense as well. And then for the marches, you have they can do the bank at -1, the wheel at -2, and then they have the charges as well at -1 for both of them. Then that's a 2, so obviously if you want to do a full wheel, you have to go at speed 6, which is the next one, because -2 from 2 means you don't move. but that is the 6 is the 3 forwards, which will actually do the 2 wheel. It's the 1 wheel basically. But they're pretty good. You've got the 7 speed under action is obviously the slide for them as well, and then you have the white modifier, which, as we've spoke about, triggers abilities, which we don't see any of them yet. Model wise, these are really nice models. Again, lots of companies do some good skeletons now, and I really like these ones. They feel like they've got some weight behind them with their armour and stuff like that. The big axes look like they'll be a joy to paint. Then we have the Reanimate Archers. I feel like these could be the hidden cheese of the core set if you're buying multiples or going to get extra packs of these guys, but we'll come to that in a moment. So they come in a unit of 2 for 18 points in the starter box. They can go up to 6 wide at 45 points. So when you consider 45 points is going to put them 3 wide, so you're adding in +2 damage. They have an extra damage on the roll on the dial for the ranged attack, and they're going to be getting re-rolls and a roll in a red and a blue. So these guys are going to be horrible to walk into. It's really nasty if you get them to 45 points at the block of 6, 3 wide, 1 deep, or 2 deep, sorry. Onto her abilities, they do have a double surge ability. Luckily you can add a surge into the roll, and then with the blue dice there's quite a few surges on there, so you can normally get it off, and that is to add a blight count, a blight token, and that comes in handy for some of the other abilities. Adding these blight tokens feels like it's going to be a play style of this army. And then, the ranged attack is a red-blue, the melee attack is a red, and they have 1 defense for 1 wound. So 1 wound kills 1 model, same as the normal reanimates. Then to the action dial, we have a speed 2 reform, which can't really save them too much from anything, but you know, it's in there as a quick option. Lets them get a rally token if you really need it. And then you have the next one being speed 5 for the ranged attack, and as I said, you can add in the damage or the surge from this. As soon as I was in range of anything, I was just adding in the damage and trying to just take stands off, and it's not unlikely that, especially if you get to 3 wide, that you will be doing 4 damage per shot quite reliably, so you can really start putting the fear into characters doing a wound a turn, or you can just take trays off for normal infantry. It's really strong. Wouldn't surprise me if something changed a little bit with these. As I say, the game's still in development. I don't know how set this unit is, but it's finished, but they feel strong. They feel really strong. The next speed is your speed 6s. You have 3 of them. They can do 2 forwards. They can do, it's a 9, sorry, so you only have 2 of them. Or you can do your 1 reposition. And the green for reposition is your rally action, and you can't charge with these guys, but you do have the bank and turn. Sorry, the turn and wheel. You need to stop thinking X-wing with it. And the 7s is they can actually slide 2. I use this to good effect in one of my games, which I'll come to in a couple of videos time probably. And then the 9 is your melee attack. So even though it's really slow, it's still red. So you can still get them into combat and actually hack things up. You're only rolling 1 red die, but if you're still 2 wide when this happens somehow, you know, nothing should be going after you at speed 9, so something should have chopped you up at this point. But if you manage to get a unit of 6 of them into someone with the melee attack even, you're going to be doing 3 damage before you roll a die. So pretty scary, and they just chop them up. If you get into combat with these guys, do your quick attacks and get them chopped up, because you don't want to be eating that. Again, models are really nice. some good character to these guys actually. Then the Karen Lancers, and he was basically a counterpoint to a Rune Golem. I don't think I gave this guy enough play time on the table. I didn't sit down, because in the game I used him, I had a specific plan in mind for him, and that was just using him as a meat shield basically. But I'm sure there's a lot more into play. He's got some really nice abilities that I just didn't take advantage of. So he costs, I think that's an 18 points, I think. I can't see anymore. For one, you can go up to 6 wide, which 6 of them looks funny. He rolls red, blue, has 3 defense for 3 wounds, so you've got to do 9 damage to him total without any modifiers coming in. He gets to, on his combat attack, you can surge to add in symbol, which is instant death basically. It's just a direct wound. I forgot what the actual symbol's called now, but it is just a direct wound if they have a blight token. So remember, the archers had the surge ability to put blight tokens on people. This guy has his range thing, which is the yellow 6, which on his action bar. Pardon me, sorry. It's his choose an unengaged unit, range 1 to 5, and in line of sight, and that unit receives a blight token. So you can blight people up and then kill them in combat. I didn't really use that combo. As I was saying, I was trying to just make sure he was in place, being no defensive. So it wasn't something I was overly worried about. I didn't need it in the game, which we'll come to. For his actions, he has a couple of speed 3s, which is pretty good, relatively quick. So he does have the interesting combo that I did see and like on him, is the speed 3 rally, which has a 3 forwards on it. So the interesting interaction you can do here is that if you make contact with a unit but it isn't a charge, you suffer a disorder token. If you've got a rally token, you can spend your rally token to remove your disorder token. That's with me so far. So if you just need to chump block somebody, most charges don't go at speed 3. I'm just going to say, from what I've seen, a lot of the charges, I think the knights can probably beat him to a punch, but that's only if they're going in at a longer range. But what you can do with this guy is you do the speed 3 rally, then the move, and just make sure he's pointed in the direction the guys are coming from. If you hit them, you can instantly spend your disorder token, remove a disorder token for rally token you've already gained. Or what you can do with him is jump him up to block the knight's charge, for example, in the starter box. He'll take a disorder token when the knights hit him because of their special rule, and you've got the token in there to get rid of it already. So really useful. That's why that was the way I was using him, not as a punchy unit. But that's just one bit of strategy for you all to enjoy maybe. The other speed 3 is his reposition, which is green, which lets him have the green for +1 defense. He also has +1 defense on the yellow as well. So a good thing you can do with him again is if it's in combat and you're not really bothered about killing stuff, is you can use the yellow +1 defense and get it in quickly rather than having to just wait. You don't do any attacking, but you just sit and tank. Because 3 wounds behind 4 damage is pretty good from what I've seen. Then you have the speed 4, which is a 2 forwards, and it's blue, so that's how he's got his actual charges if you want to get in there for the attacks. He's got a speed 5, a couple of speed 5s actually, which is the 3 forwards or his combat attack. So the combat attack has +1 damage, so there's a potential for really, really good damage here because he does have the +1 damage and then he's rolling 3 dice, so you can potentially roll some good damage here. And when you get, again, if you're 3 wide, 2 deep, 2 deep is really going to be a bit scary to deal with. Then you have the sixes, which were the special action, which in this instance it's on the card, and that lets you spit poison at people, basically, apply those blight tokens, and the other one is his reposition, and they're yellow and green respectively, which we've already covered. Then we've got the 7, which is his 4 forwards, which lets you get the 3 bank, which is a really, really long move in there. Okay, and then that's all of the forces for these guys covered. Again, so I should say, it's a really nice model. Hopefully when they do the pack of them, I believe it should come in the same pack as the rune golems, so the same size pack as the rune golems, which I'd heard that we're going to be 2 in a pack. So when it comes out, it's going to be interesting to see how many different poses there are. Hopefully there's only 1 repeat, if any. I mean, hopefully both of them will be varied, so you'll have 3 different sculpts, is what I'm hoping. But as long as it's not 2 of this sculpt in the actual individual pack, I won't be as pleased if I've got to paint like 6 of the same model, because I'll probably try 6 of them at some point. But yeah, it's really nice, and that is the forces of Waiqar the Undying. I'll probably pronounce that wrong this time. I did a lot of work for the first one and then forgot it. But yeah, let me know if there's anything, again, same as with the Daqan, just let me know if there's anything you want me to try and remember or go over specifically. I can't remember everything from the intro, so I don't have the rules down. I've not been given a copy of anything for these reviews. It's all trying to do it from memory and the notes that I took whilst I was at the Nova Open. But yeah, hopefully you find that interesting, and thanks for watching.